Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And the Royal Challengers Bengaluru have beaten the Chennai Super Kings by 50 runs, have won their second game out of two, and a thoroughly deserved victory for them. And let's get into this review. Starting off with the 11s for CSK, I knew they wouldn't change the 11 or change it by much. One thing I didn't expect was that we saw Nathan Ellis the previous match. He bowled 4 overs, went for 38 runs, and I'll say again, I wouldn't have played him. I wouldn't have played him or Patir, and I would have played Anshul Kamboj ahead of the two overseas seamers and played Devon Conway ahead of Deepak Hooda. I'll keep saying this even though it may be a bore to hear all the time, but I feel that is the 11 will optimize their chances. They brought in Patirana, and we saw how he went today, where there was a rumor to say whether his action had been corrected, and we saw that wasn't the case today. If you're comparing Nathan Ellis and Patirana, which one would you think have been in better form in the last war? Certainly Nathan Ellis. Therefore, which one is more likely to go well in these conditions? And Patirana didn't get into the JSK side when bowling in Johannesburg, so I feel that I didn't understand them bringing in Patirana when they'd won that first match. They don't change the team when they lose, let alone when they win. So I'm surprised they brought in Patirana rather than going with the same combination. And I think that was the only change for them. And for RCB, I'd suggested a left field move where I didn't think Tim David or Liam Livingstone were going to go too well in the service. I thought instead of Tim David, they could bring in Swapnil Singh, who can also bat, can bowl left arm spin, and that would open a slot for an overseas player. And David Padikkal, gave an impetus today, but did you know that was going to happen? I didn't know. So I didn't think there was going to be much of a difference between the batting outputs of Jacob Bedu and Padikkal. Therefore, Bedu can also go left arm off spin. I thought they could add another bowling variety or spinner to their side, but they went with the same team with Bhuvneshwar Kumar correctly in because he was fit to play. As far as the toss decision, I thought both teams did what they wanted to do, because for CSK, if they won the toss, they had to bowl first. For RCB, if they won the toss, they had to bat first, and that is what happened. And now we saw how Ashwin, this was the point where he thought RCB's first point of momentum in the first over went for 9, bowled by Khalil Ahmed. Then the second over, Ashwin bowled and he went for 16. Now, there's been some talk that as far as the stats are concerned at this venue, you've got to manage with the seamers as much as you can in the power play, because we saw Ashwin bowled 1 over in the previous as well, and I said that's what they do. They bowl 1 over of the spinner in the power play, and then they manage the rest with the seam. In this case, with this 11, I don't mind them bowling Ashwin with the second over because, and this is what they have. This is the selection hand they've dealt themselves with, because apart from Khalil Ahmed, if Khalil Ahmed doesn't go well in the power play, which seamer is there who's going to strike in the power play? No one. Sam Curran bowled 2 overs. I thought he got away with it by bowling slower balls. Matisha Patirana is not a power play bowler. Now, Anshul Kamboj is a power play bowler, and you saw the bounce that Josh Hazelwood and Bhuvneshwar Kumar extracted when they were bowling, and Khalil Ahmed in the first match. So, had he bowled with a new ball combination alongside Khalil Ahmed, you wouldn't have had to bowl Ashwin that early on. And he could have bowled. I'm not saying Jadeja bowling that 7th over was a bad call, because they bowled Ashwin earlier on. He went for 16, so they didn't have much of an option at that point in time. And before this match, you were thinking, what kind of confidence is Padikkal going to go into this match with on a slower surface where you have to get the runs in the power play at a fast rate? Is he someone who can do that batting out of position? You didn't know. So in that situation, I'm not someone who looks to adhere to matchups so much unless it's a very specific situation. For example, a left arm off spinner to Nicholas Prawn, unless that left arm off spinner is very reputed and has got some high class. In this case, is there a rule to say Jadeja bowling to Padikkal was going to yield that many runs to be scored at the over? There wasn't, but we saw what happened, and credit to him for playing that cameo, because had they got 50 odd in the power play, if he had been dismissed, or if Virat Kohli had been dismissed at that point in time, you've only got one of Kohli or Patidar, or pretend if Padikkal was dismissed, you've got Kohli and Patidar, they would have had to be watchful for the rest of the innings, because after that, as you saw what happened, apart from Tim David at the end, where I don't know why they bought Sam Curran in the last over, there was not much to speak of. So I thought that thrust was what established the advantage for RCB after they had a good power play. And from RCB point of view, I think there was 76 for 2 when Padikkal was dismissed. And what I liked about Virat Kohli's innings today, was approach today, was that he did not mind what the rhetoric was. He was on 16 of 23, and he realized, or he knew from beforehand, that he has to play the sheet anchor role with Patidar looking to attack, because those are the only two who can play the long innings in this kind of a service in this side. And after he got hit in the helmet off a Patidar and a bouncer, he then was looking to accelerate. And I think at 10 overs, it was the 100 mark was breached. Then and there, the match was over. And when Kohli was dismissed, the score was on 117 in 12 overs. Now, we are nearing the slog overs by that point in time. You've got to set Patidar there. And that enabled them to, they had the foundation to, yes, they lost wickets after that point, but they got to that 196 because of the foundation that they had set. So after Virat Kohli's innings, he played it correctly. And from a CSK point of view, you're looking at Matisha Patidarana's bowling figures, and it says 1 for 36, I think, but 4 overs, 36 runs. Because of the 4th over that he bowled, it seems as if he didn't go for many runs. That 3rd over was one of the major contributing factors to why RCB could get to that 196. He wasn't landing his Yorkers. He kept on bowling on a length, which is the reason why I'm saying the rumor that his action is corrected. We've seen now that that's not the case, and that's why I wasn't surprised with this performance. And in the last over, I'll say this again. Liam Livingstone, Tim David, the only bowler who they were going to score runs off in this attack was Sam Curran. You've somehow got 15 runs and 2 overs out of him in the power play, and you're bowling him in the last over to Tim David when you've got overs off the spinners left on a slower surface. It was a terrible move, and he scores 18 runs. When the score 100 runs in 10 overs, CSK have lost. Above 170, CSK have lost. However, that last point, the killer blow, 178 to 196, match truly over. With a lack of power hitting in the CSK side, you are not going to get close to chasing that score. And you saw how many they lost by, despite RCB tried to do a few favors, I thought, towards the end. I thought they should have won by far more. And so looking at the bowling figures, I'll say this again. Russian bowls a 2nd over, only goes for 6 runs, dismisses Padikkal, does not get bowled after that. Jadeja, yes, went for runs, does not bowl his 4th over. We saw this in the previous season, Rutraj Gaikwad's reluctance to trust spinners. We saw that the spinners playing a slightly increased role in the second half of the previous season, but still was not to an optimal level. And today, when he was bored in the power play, the 2nd over, went for runs, you're not giving him the last 2, or Jadeja, the last one, when you know spin bowling is your strength. Sam Curran, Matisha Patidarana, convincing options at this point in time, no. So why are you not trusting those spinners that you've got? I really didn't understand that. Well, that's the kind of surface you're looking to produce, and you're not trusting those bowlers. It was very poor. Not much to say about the CSK batting lineup, where I understand the sentiments of many where they say Rahul Tripathi should bat at 3, not open. And as far as alone facts, that's fair enough. In this case, I'll say again, if they don't play Devon Conway, you saw in the previous match, 65 of 44 for Rachin Ravindra. Rutraj Gaikwad scored a 53 at above a 200 strike rate. Yet when they needed 49 or 50, they stumbled over the line. So Rutraj Gaikwad dismissed in the 2nd over, and the match was gone. There's no way they weren't going to win. There was no way they were going to get close, because those two are the fulcrums of this batting lineup. They're part of the fulcrum of this lineup. If one of them are dismissed, you're looking over your shoulder, which is why what I would do is I'd drop Deepak Hooda, because has he been demonstrating confidence at the bat or in the field as we saw today? No. And Rahul Tripathi can bat at 4. Then you could play Devon Conway to open. You've got more solidity there. You can split up Rachin Ravindra and Rutraj Gaikwad. That's the kind of a lineup where you've got batting depth. Have you got reliable options apart from 2 players? No. So it was very poor there. And secondly, You're 26 for 3 in 4.4. Shivam Dubey walked out of 4 in the previous match, chasing 197. And Sam Curran walks out of 5. And from that point in time, you go for 26 for 3 and 4.4 to 52 for 4 and 8.5 match over on a slow surface. They've not got the spin strength, but it's still going to be very difficult to score about 14, 15 runs per over required. There's no way you're going to score that. And so it's very poor. Sam Curran scored 8 off 13, and the momentum, there was no momentum to begin with, but they just dug the grave at that point in time. And what did I say about the CSK finishing core? That they are pace hitters. Jadeja, pace hitter. MS Dhoni, pace hitter. I mentioned this in videos quite a few months ago. Jadeja usually takes that 14 balls against the spinners to then start attacking them. We can hit pace straight away. Today, 14 off 14, 18 off 15, 24 off 16 when he hit the 6 off Suyash Sharma. That he takes those 14 balls to attack the spinners. MS Dhoni now is a pace hitter. And this is where, from an RCB point of view, I don't know why Josh Hazelwood goes for 6 runs in his first 2 overs. And I'll say again, he's not a death bowler. In his third over, he goes for some decent amounts of runs. When Jadeja is not doing much against the spinners, then you're bowling Josh Hazelwood. And Krunal Pandya, I think they didn't bowl him much because of the left-handed factor, but in that last over, and I said he's guilty of not using the conditions, where he bowled a sort of a drifting away swinger to MS Dhoni in the last over, where he just tapped it to the square fielder. Bowl 5 more of that. I don't think MS Dhoni is scoring many runs. He was scoring about max 5 runs in that over. Instead, you're bowling on the leg stump and you're bowling bouncers. You give 16 away. And that's what, when I was watching the match, it was 96 off 24. And I'd say at that point in time, they'll win by 50 runs because they'll bowl the seamers towards the end. And Josh Hazelwood is not a death bowler. We saw the way Krunal bowled. We saw Josh Hazelwood in the third over. That is why the deficit was reduced greatly to 50 runs. Despite that, RCB, after winning the first match convincingly, the second match convincingly, they've got that cushion now. They'll certainly qualify. Fantastic performance from them, so they deserve the victory. For CSK, I'm not surprised, but I'd say it's very difficult for RCB to win and for CSK to lose, because apart from Kohli and Patidar, who else in this lineup is reliable? No, Liam Livingstone, he won't score. Jitesh Sharma is explosive but inconsistent. Tim David, the only play he would have scored is against Sam Curran. Krunal Pandya is not going to play with a strike rate at any venue. All this seems okay because, and David Parikar, you don't know whether he will score runs, he scored runs today. All this seems okay because Phil Salt scored a 50 and 30 in his first innings. If Phil Salt starts failing, then it's all on Virat Kohli and Rajat Paidar. It's still the one weakness with the side. The spin is managing, which is a good sign, but I'd still say Phil Salt has got to continue scoring because you've only got Kohli and Paidar. I hope they manage on that front, but a very good performance from them today. And now on the next match, CSK versus Rajasthan Royals. Now, for CSK, I've said what 11 I think they should go with, and what they may do is they'll bring back Nathan Ellis for Patirana and start the charades, which is something they don't do usually. But if they go with the same 11, I think this is going to be, even on a slow service, they'll struggle to win if they don't trust the spinners either. And for the Rajasthan Royals, I'd said CSK have got variations of 11s. Rajasthan Royals have got none because they've picked a kind of squad where have you got top order backup despite you wouldn't drop the players there? No. Have you got lower order backup despite you wouldn't drop the players there? No. Have you got bowling backup where the spinners or fast bowlers? No. Have you got the overseas combination where you can change your combination, bring in an extra batsman? No. So their season has ended from the auction. And look who did the backup, because Fadl Farooqi is someone who's very talented, he's improved since the T20 World Cup. However, the decision making is still found wanting. When the IOT20, he was the best Yorker bowler in the league. He arrived at the Champions Trophy, and when he goes around the wicket, he bowls slow deliveries. And from very early on, he switched to doing that in the SRH match. So the decision making in a league like IPL has got to be spot on, and I feel that has not been there. Quinton Park has a very good talent, but he has been expensive in T20. So are those two going to be the match winners for you at this point in time? No. Akash Madbal is there, but who can you bring him in place of? Because they've not been giving bowling to Tushar Deshpande and to an extent Sandeep Sharma. Geoff Raj has been going around the park, and if you drop him, if you got a batsman to supplement that, if you want to strengthen your batting, no, unless you just choose to play with 3 overseas players. But dropping Jofra Archer and bringing in but Akash Madbal or whoever, whichever one was Fazalak Faruqi, Kunal Parker would be a huge risk. Shivam Dube, you can use him as an impact sub. However, they may want to use Kumar Kartikeya. And if you got Manindu Asaranka number 7, who's for some reason better at number 5, and Jofra Archer at number 8, who, knowing them, they put Shimon Hetmai at number 8, and Tushar Deshpande also at number 9. Do you need Shivam Dube to be a match-winning impact sub at this venue where it's going to turn in Guwahati? I don't think so. And secondly, why are you putting a match in Guwahati when you know the spin strength CSK have got? You saw how Narayan didn't play, and you're struggling with a side with 2 spinners, and Moeen Ali is a very good bowler, but is Sunil Narayan? No. And you're faltering against that side. You're putting the same match in Guwahati against CSK. It's very poor planning. So I think going into this, I feel they'll finish last because LSG, they arguably should have won their first 2 matches, and it was a fantastic victory against SRH yesterday. So LSG is slowly starting to find their feet. What they have, still precarious, but with what they have, they're going okay. With the Rajasthan Royals, they have no options apart from what they've got. Shimon Hetmai has to bat at number 4. For Guyana, that's what he did on those slow, tough pitches. He batted at 4. In last match, he bats at number 8, and you're retaining him ahead of Josh Butler, where at 10. The T10 League, he bats at 4. For England, he bats at 3. For Gujarat, as I said, they'd look to shield Josh Butler from the new ball, where it does a bit in Ahmedabad. You've got Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan, then Josh Butler, and that's exactly what they did. And you've got a player who's willing to forego his opening slot, and instead you're not taking that option, and you're banging Shimon Hetmai at number 8. And your Rian Parag cannot bat at number 3 at this point in time. I'll say again, is he going to do badly? No, but he will not cross that 25-run mark. What did he do? The previous match scored 25 runs and then was dismissed. Whenever he's walked out of 3, he has not been someone who's scored the big run. He's a very good player, and I think he would have a good season, but he should work out maximum at number 4, not at 3. It's an illogical move to play him ahead of Nitish Rana at number 3. And Nitish Rana, the previous match, there was a terrible shot, an experienced player. I hope he does better. Dhruv Jurel is someone who can look to play consistently, but I think because they also didn't back him much the previous year, he's also finding his feet. He's a very good player. Wanindu Hasaranga, number 5, they took it out of the manual that the Sri Lankan team used, where they promote him ahead of Matthews for some reason. And so this team, they don't seem to know what they're doing with the auction that they picked, the strategies that they've employed as well. They've got no options but this one. And I'll say this again, if you take Josh Butler out of this side, this batting side has got talent. Do they scare you? No. There's one player, maybe the other one because of his talent, Sanju Samson, Rian Parag, when he goes on his day. You've got ability, but the one player who can score runs consistently is Jaiswal. If he doesn't score consistently, this is a team that will score. They can score 230. They'll score that in a losing cause rather than a winning cause. They've not got that consistency to dictate a match batting first, and that's why I feel that this team will struggle with both bat and ball. There's not much really to say here, whichever conditions they play in. And now for the 11 reviews, or rather the 11 previews based on how I think they should go with and what I think they will do. For CSK, there's a case to say the 11 that I think they should play, but for Rajasthan Royals, they've got no option. For CSK, in the power play of this venue, you've got to get it around that 50. It'll be a bit more complex than in Chennai, but you've got to get around that 50 odd. For CSK, the top 4 being Devon Conway, Rachin Ravindra, Rutraj Gaikwad, Rahul Tripathi, compared with Sanju Samson, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Nitish Rana, and Shimon Hetmai. They won't bat Shimon Hetmai at 4, but I think they should do. Devon Conway, someone who plays slowly. Rachin Ravindra can do both. Rutraj Gaikwad is in supreme confidence. Rahul Tripathi, because they've been playing around with his batting position as well, I don't know what he'll do. Sanju Samson, we know how talented he is. SB Jaiswal, we know how talented he is. Nitish Rana is a very good player, spin experienced player. I hope he does well. Shimon Hetmai, we also know how talented he is, but what mind frame will he be in, I don't know. As the other teams, I'll still say the power play explosiveness, despite CSK can get the edge in other aspects, the power play explosiveness, the Rajasthan Royals in this case have got an edge there. And now the middle overs, just make sure you shouldn't get bogged down by the spinners, and a slow surface scoring runs in the back turn also be a bit difficult. You need to get that 180 kind of score. Middle order for CSK, you've got Raj Gaikwad, Rahul Tripathi, Shivam Dubey, Sam Curran compared with Nitish Rana, Shimon Hepmeyer, Riyan Parag, Dhruv Jurel. Raj Gaikwad, yes, but then Rahul Tripathi, you don't know his mind frame. Shivam Dubey, you don't know his mind frame. Sam Curran, you don't know his mind frame. Nitish Rana, he's an experienced player. I hope he comes good. Shimon Hepmeyer, you don't know his mindset. And Riyan Parag, I hope they don't bat him at 3, but they may do. Dhruv Jurel is a very good player. I'd still say the assurance in the middle overs. Maybe CSK will be helped by the fact Rajasthan don't have the spin strength, but if you're purely looking on batting ability right now, I've got to say Rajasthan, purely on batting ability, that's why they've got the edge. Now the finishers. Now, compared with what I've said before, if you're looking at bowling the slower bowlers to Ravindra Jadeja and MS Dhoni to make sure you can inhibit their output at the death, Rajasthan Royals, Vanitha Saranga is someone who 4 overs, 39, 2 wickets on any surface kind of bowler. Mahesh Theekshana can bowl economically, has not been doing that thus far. Will they play Kumar Kartikeya? I don't know. So do they have those options to bowl slow to MS Dhoni and Jadeja unless they bowl Parag? I don't know. So those two may not struggle as much as they could do with better spin attacks. And as far as the seamers are concerned, certainly they've not been in any form, and 2 of them haven't been bowling much either. The CSK, with the spinners, there's no comparison. CSK spinners are far ahead. The seamers, for the first time, I'm giving the edge to CSK with the seam bowling striking up front because Anshul Kamboj and Khalil Ahmed, they've got more confidence than the other seamers. So, batting edge Rajasthan, bowling edge CSK. Because of the bowling edge, that's why Rajasthan faltered in the previous match against the spinners. The bowling edge, I'm giving CSK the edge to win here, but with the batting precariousness for CSK, they've also got the ability to not win this match because of their batting. And now the 11 that I think CSK will go with, Devon Conway won't play, so Rutraj Gaikwad, Rachin Ravindra, Tripathi bats at the opening spot. He also won't go well. Deepak Huda, I don't think is going to go well. If one of Rutraj and Rachin are dismissed, then there'll be problems. Shivam Dubey, you don't know. Sam Khan, you don't know. Nathan Ellis, I think they may bring back ahead of Patirana, but then in the power play, if Khalil Ahmed doesn't get wickets, although bowling spin here may be slightly more forgiving. I don't know the truth if that's true, but if you're assuming that bowling spin, the power play here may be slightly more forgiving than in Chennai, you may have a better chance there. But if Khalil Ahmed doesn't pick up because you haven't got the bowlers to bowl in the power play as far as the seam bowlers are concerned, so it would lessen your chances to win. Having said that, they've still got the bowling edge ahead of the Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals have got the greater batting edge. I feel because of the bowling edge, CSK will win this match. Let's see how this goes. If you enjoy this video, please unsubscribe, share with friends. Remember, this is my opinion. Watch yours.